Hello, menopausers. Hello, Coach Nitra here. So, tonight is all about activity. One of the hardest pieces of this journey is for many of you realizing that you're working out constantly. You feel like I'm doing all of this. I'm exercising all the time and I'm eating well, but you're not seeing results, right? But some of it isn't just about the workout. Or many of you may say, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, right? Things just changed. But the fact is, life for life probably changed. Many of you are probably in a situation where maybe your actual lifestyle changed. Maybe you're now an empty nester and you're not running behind sports and doing all these different things. Maybe you used to be a caretaker and now you're no longer a caretaker and you're not standing and walking and doing all of these things anymore. Maybe you recently changed the type of work that you do. Maybe you used to be someone who stood and walked all day and all of a sudden your profession changed or your position changed and you are more seated, right? But you still exercise. So you may be saying that all of a sudden you gain like 15, 20 pounds and it's only because of menopause or perimenopause. But oftentimes that's not the case. There's a lot more involved to what is going on. It's a little bit of the activity that maybe once was or never was. Some of it can truly be around hormonal changes, hysterectomies that were like changes are brought on pretty quickly. It could be literally just that gradual change and maybe we gain a little bit of weight, but everything is not just because we hit perimenopause and postmenopause, right? Things can be a lot more challenging or they're different because we are different and what we require is different. Some of you may have been in a situation where grief has been an issue for you, stress, right? Lots of it. Y'all know how that feels, or lack of sleep, right? So many people just do not get enough sleep. So all of a sudden you're seeing weight climb, but it's not just because of, hey, I'm eating poorly or I don't exercise. Most of the time for many ladies, that is not the case. You're not eating off the rails. We may not be as guided as we need to be, right? But that's not usually the case. Most people are exercising in some way, shape, or form. And every now and then there's some who just aren't doing anything. But then you kind of know what's happening, right? So let's talk about what is real activity. And some of you who, let's say you work constantly, meaning on your feet, doctors, any of you who are doctors, nurses, anybody in healthcare, if you work in a hospital setting, if you work in an assisted living facility, if you are a teacher, assistant principal, vice principal, or principal, if you work in retail, if you're a retail leader and you travel all the time, if you're a consultant, any of these positions, you find that people typically on their feet may be a lot more often. However, that may feel like I am so active, but I want you to understand there's a couple differences. So first of all, we have to discuss what we call kind of our normal daily activity or non-exercise activity. But everybody's non-exercise activity looks different based on your life. So if you've somebody who you have been a teacher, say for 20 years, and you have been walking, 17,000 steps every day for 20 years, guess what that has become? Just a normal part of kind of like par for the course for you, right? That's what you do. So your body no longer sees that as this additional exercise. You just happen to walk often in your daily life. So when we think about what it takes to then transform your body, if all of a sudden we're trying to lose weight, then it means not only do we have to deal with what your day-to-day 17,000 steps, we actually got to get some different activity on top of that. I know I just blew somebody's mind right now, right? Because I hear it. People say, well, I walk all the time. Yeah, but you've always done that. And on the flip side, if all of a sudden you had that job and then you stopped in about maybe 4 months, 5 months, you're going to find yourself, if you don't pick those steps back up, you're going to find yourself starting to gain weight because your steps have gone down so dramatically. Your activity has almost come to a halt. So then let's talk about those of you who work in pretty sedentary roles, that you are seated most of your day. If we took a step count, right, you might not even be hitting 3,000 steps a day. So as I say it, those of you, if you got an Apple Watch, if you got any type of pedometer, if you use your cell phone health app or a fitness app of any kind, check your steps. See if you even hit 4,000 in a day, right? And if you don't, then I am really talking to you. So here's some ways that you can really amplify. So sometimes you can think, well, I work out all the time, but remember, the exercise that you do, and depending on what you do, it is only for that time period. So in the course of a day, let's say there are 24 hours in a day, right? And not let's say there is 24 hours in a day. I'm going to take out 8 hours of that just to say, hey, we went to sleep. So instead of 24 available hours, right? Let's say there's 16 available hours in a day. So let's say 16 times 7 days a week. That means there are 112 available active non-sleeping hours. So when you think about, especially those of you who have very sedentary lifestyles, very sedentary roles, even though you exercise 4 or 5 days a week and maybe you walk, something like that. The fact is you might literally in a week, and I'm going to give it on the high side. And this is for those of you who actually already train or you do something. You might hit 6 hours of the 112, which is considered exercise activity. 6. Let's remember, go back to the example. If you are not even hitting 4,000 steps in a day, most of the time that 4,000 actually includes, especially for those of you who wear watches, that includes probably 1,000 steps that were while you were at the gym or doing something, or maybe even 2,000, depending on what you did there. And then for those of you who are cardio junkies, right? You know who you are going to get gym steps, right? So maybe you hit 2 miles, right? Maybe even hit 3 miles, but that's gym activity. And remember, that probably didn't even take you an hour to do. And here you are. Remember what we said? We have 112 available active hours, and you may be a cardio junkie. And let's say you spend 5-6 hours a week exercising. It still is only 6. And your 6, the difference, those of you who do not strength train, your 6 hours are only associated with a caloric burn or some type of impact only while you are there. So once you walk away, there's no afterburn, as we call it. But those of you who strength train, right? Let's say you 3-4 days a week, you strength train, I'm going to give you an hour, even an hour and a half. And I know for some of you, I'm pushing the limit. You're listening right now saying, what? No, 45 minutes. That's it. But some of you may train for an hour, hour and a half. You are going to have some type of you're going to have some afterburn, right? Where we still burn some additional calories through the day. But if you still have a sedentary job, that still was only an hour and a half, say 3-4 times a week. That's still not 5 hours. Then maybe you got one day that you cardio. So I'm going to give you, that's why I said I'm going to give you 6 hours. So think about it. In your 112, all we've done is 6 hours in an entire week. So when you look at the scheme of things on how someone can pick up weight all of a sudden, this is why, because the lifestyle is too sedentary. So let's talk about how we fix it. So step 1, we got to get up. Simple things that you can do, standing workstations, whether you work from home or you work inside of a corporate office, standing workstation. That's number 1. And you can get different types of chairs, right? Some of you can get chairs with physio ball on it that actually has a chair back, right? Some of you, we can't just sit there all day with no back, because some of you, we working on posture too. But we can get a physio ball chair. You can get a chair that is almost like it is a lift chair. So it can go all the way down to a normal chair, or it can raise all the way up to almost a standing chair where you can be much higher. So you can get those. You can get almost like a cycle, but it's under your desk. It's just a foot pad. And some of the foot pads have actual pedals where you can pedal while you are seated in a meeting. You could be pedaling under the desk, right? While you're at an office or at your home office, you can be pedaling. Or there's some other ones that literally just slide your feet. And those are a lot more around circulation to your legs, but they still are considered moving your body and getting some steps. So those are easy ways to do it at home. Then there's also one that is more of a stepper where you actually have to stand up on it. So that can be a little quick 10 minutes that you do, and it counts your steps for you. There's also a workstation bicycle. I'm going to link a couple of things to this video today, but there is a workstation bicycle where it can fit your laptop, all of your items, the cup, everything, while you're actually pedaling on a bike. It is a full bike. They go for under $400, and there's a couple different models. Some of you who you work from home constantly, that may be something you want to invest in versus say a Peloton or something like that, because you may want to literally pedal while you are on calls versus a Peloton, right? That is strictly for your activity, or a spin bike or a treadmill, whatever that you have from a movement standpoint. So those are some quick and easy ways that you can get your step count up, because what we want to do is get to a point where you're at least 8,000 steps that are not a part of your actual training or actual intentional exercise session that is part of your day. What I'm talking about is 8,000 steps where you have additionally added those in to keep you moving for those who are very sedentary. If you can get up to 10, we're winning. We are winning. Now, for those of you who already walk those types of steps because you are a nurse, a doctor, a school teacher, a principal, assistant principal, those of you who have a retail jobs, those of you who have those already, then yours is a lot more around the intentional exercise that you do out of work, okay? But it has to be intentional. It doesn't need to be something that you don't like, that stresses your body. Example, some of you love a HIIT style workout, but the fact is that HIIT style workout may no longer be for you because it puts too much pressure on your joints. You're jumping all over the place. You don't like it. It doesn't feel so great. And it's not really doing, right? It's not giving what it needs to give, right? If you understand what I'm saying. So think about the exercise you're doing. Does it make sense for you at this time? Do you have a strength training component? And do you have enough activity and just steps in your day? So I want you to work on getting an exercise routine that 100% does include some form of strength training. You also need to have some type of cardiovascular routine within your actual exercise. And then I want you to really start to work on increasing those steps. That needs to be at least 8,000 steps. You can have a pedometer. Again, if those of you with watches or just on your phone, okay? Find something that tracks your steps and really start to work on it every day. And so the point is we want to reduce the amount of time that you are sitting. Those of you who have knee problems, back problems, ankle problems, foot problems, whatever your issue is that you feel may be stopping you from doing some of the things I've said, because I know some of you right now are saying, I can't do that. But guess what? You can. The ones that I've talked about, they're very small. They can sit on the floor. They can literally move your feet. They literally just scoot your feet like this. Those you need, right? Or the ones that are small pedals and you just pedal under your desk. Those are excellent. They are not a lot of pressure on knees, but they keep you moving and they keep your legs with some good circulation. And then another way, some of you who live in cities that have row machines, right? That is a fantastic way to get a lot of cardiovascular exercise, and you can kind of convert it to steps, right? You can do that. But a row machine is a great way to do it for people who have knee problems or foot problems, as long as you can press, right? Anybody who doesn't have a broken foot or some serious bone issue, you can just put your feet kind of on the base of the rower. But that is a great way to get a lot of movement in your day. So give it a shot. Those of you who swim, it's another way to get a lot of movement kind of in your day. But I would love for you guys to give it a shot, because all we need to do for the most part is get you moving a lot more. Let's get to a place where we're saying, oh, I do have more activity than 5 hours a week out of the 116 or 112 available work hours. Now, if this resonates with you, write me. Tell me how you feel about it after you watch this video. But we got to get you moving, and you're going to find that the more you move, the better you feel, the lessening of the symptoms you will have, the more energized you'll be. But then you'll also start to see some of that weight gain go away almost just by itself. Okay, so let's get busy. Let me know what you think, and I cannot wait to see your comments. See you next time.